Jeff Passan on with Arcan on Friday night. Good get by Arcan. A lot of good stuff from Passan. Cora definitely not blameless.
No, bad season for Cora.
Managing some of these personalities. We'll get into John Henry and some insight that Passan had in the reporting. Henry met with Devers twice in Kansas City. We knew about the initial report and the flight there. He also met with him the next morning for breakfast.
Yeah, a little brekkie.
Devers blew him off both times, wouldn't get on board. And I'm sure Henry came back and said, let's get rid of this guy. To that point, that was, again, a month ago, whatever that was. Twitch chat is saying, two things, Larry. Number one, we're smearing Devers because we carry the Red Sox games, and we're only doing that as a favor to the organization.
Well, I mean, people join the show at all different times. We appreciate that. We've been pretty consistent since February.
I was going to say, we were ripping him and smearing him, I guess, while he was
on the team.
While he was a member of the team back in spring training.
That's right.
All the way.
That's right.
Where I'm sure the team was trying to turn things around with him before they made their decision to move on.
That Kansas City trip, by the way, was May 9th, 10th, and 11th. So it's a month and a half.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you think we're just smearing him because we carry Red Sox games, I guess we were doing it while he was playing for the team every day.
Yeah.
But go ahead. The other item in there as well is we were ripping Devers for not hitting a walk-off home run. No. I said I would get the Gatorade bath and him doing post-game media if he walked it off. All he did was hit a home run earlier in the game.
Yeah.
And so I was saying for Devers to do the post-game media, it stood out. It wasn't a walk-off situation. It stood out that he was having such a good time.
Because we also found out he turned those down all the time.
Yucking it up. He turned it
down. He refused to do those
even
here.
in walk-off situations here. Yep. And then with the Giants, he hits a home run early, and he's like, oh, yeah, put me on the TV. I love doing interviews.
Buds.
Dump Gatorade on me. Woo. So that's what I was ripping him for.
Let me play first base, please.
If you'll only be ripping him for that, fine. Yeah. I didn't rip him because he didn't hit a walk-off home run. Though that does sound like something I would say.
Yeah.
What were we just going over in the last? Carabas is
what's going on
in
here?
His mentions? We were talking about Jaren Duran.
Yep,
Jaren Duran, rough game yesterday.
Yeah, bad game and not Duran, a good season.
Rough season. He's number one on the Athletics trade big board. And perhaps in a related story, Carabas right now is seems like he's done with Jaren Duran. If you
this is what happens. You have big supporters like Alex Cora, big supporter of Rafael Devers. Then he was not a big supporter of Rafael Devers. And now he's gone.
And Carabas is a very pro Red Sox. He's a very outspoken Red Sox fan. Like I don't think he hides from that in any way, shape, or form. He puts it on display.
Right.
And so for Carabas to be done with you, I wonder.
Yeah, what happened?
What happened? Well, I wonder what happened, but I also wonder if
What happened?
He's got an idea that Duran may not be long for you.
Well, if he's number one on that list that you were reading earlier, The Athletic had guys that could be traded between now and the deadline, and Jaren Duran's number one on that list. It's not kind of like thrown in there as like a maybe. Feels like that there could be something cooking.
You know what's going to happen, Keefe?
What's going to happen?
They're going to trade Duran, and now we're going to just be where everybody else is with Devers. And we're going to be like, this organization's stupid, and I hate it.
Yeah, although Duran's kind of on a down note.
He is. I don't know.
If he was playing like he was last year and they traded him, it'd be insane.
Yeah.
But Jaren Duran's not Mookie Betts. Like, he had a really good year last year. And they do need to figure out at some point what their outfield's going to be. Like, what's your everyday outfield? Is it Roman Anthony, Cedar Rafaela, Wilyer Abreu? Well, then you do trade Jaren Duran, I guess.
That's true.
But is it, Jaren Duran, Rafael, and Roman Anthony? All right, well, then you maybe trade Wilyer Abreu. It does seem like all four of those guys probably need to play every day. I was of the mindset maybe Rafaela can kick in, or maybe Rafaela can be the Swiss Army knife. I don't know.
He's turned around.
Maybe he needs to play every single day.
It's true, because I was of that same mindset.
Yeah.
And I probably still lean that way, but he has been hitting. And, he had a monster weekend this weekend.
And having like a really good
Giants.
glove in center field is pretty helpful. I mean, I think all the pitchers would say, like, yeah, I like having him out there.
So, look, I wonder if Duran really is on the block. And
sounds like it.
Just reading into Carabas being done with him, I wonder if he's heard things that the organization is done with him. But again, that's just a guess.
The whole thing has been a disaster.
It's not been great. Should we start looking at Theo? I was very excited when Theo came in, Keefe. I got an email about this over the weekend that I thought was interesting. And it's like, Theo, Breslow is a Theo guy. Theo was brought in. I thought it was my favorite thing the organization had done in like a decade was bringing Theo back. It was like one of my favorite things they've done, where I was like, bringing back a guy who's had success with Major League Baseball and with the Cubs and obviously with the Red Sox, getting him back involved in any way, shape, or form, even if it's more with Fenway Sports Group and more with the rest of the portfolio, but just to be an ear in the organization for the baseball team. Like, at what point do we look at it and say, some of this is on Theo, too? Is that fair to start looking at? Because I imagine Breslow's here in big part because of him.
Yeah, but also he was not the first choice, second choice, third choice, 12th choice. Like, he eventually came in, and maybe Theo had a little bit of hand in that. I was hopeful for a moment when they brought him in, and then was it early on when somebody was asked about it, and they're like, well, he's going to kind of overlook everything, and like he's like just as much involved in soccer. I was like,
yeah,
oh. I was like, I'm out.
That's what they said. I don't buy that, though.
Yeah,
do you buy that?
Kind of.
He's as involved with soccer as he is with the baseball team.
He shouldn't be, but I'm also like, I don't really understand the point of this, because then there's always those whispers about like, is this just adding to the resume so he can eventually become commissioner of baseball and just sort of like putting this on the list?
Or own his own club?
Yeah, something to that effect. Like, it feels like they wanted him back, but obviously chief baseball officer is beneath him. So it's like, all right, what role do you have and how much say do you have? You know, if they signed Juan Soto, maybe I would have been like, yeah, he's a little bit more involved. I guess this offseason was a better offseason than the previous ones, but I'm still not convinced that he has like a huge say.
Yeah, I was very hopeful when he came in. And I guess if I'm going to be consistent, I got to look at it and go, all right, well, where are things heading and how much blame is on him? Now, I believe more in Breslow than I think a lot of people do. But if you're out on Breslow and you hate the job he's doing and you want him fired, and I know a lot of people do, well, then you got to look at Theo as well.